Good morning. God bless you. I'm Pastor Michelle, along with my husband, Pastor Waylon Gibson, Reach Church of Columbia. We greet you in the name of Jesus. We know that God is still on the throne and He is marvelous and wonderful in our eyes. We just want to give Him praise and glory. This week has been a trying week, but we thank God we are through the humps and the bumps. Um, as you know, if you don't know, Pastor Waylon was admitted in the hospital on Wednesday. Um, he had been going through for a whole month, coughing, and we was asking everybody, praying and believing God that we would find out what the answer was, find out what the problem really was, because he took everything that he could take that's supposed to dry up a cough, but the cough was still going on. So once we got to the heart doctor and things started moving swiftly, and Pastor Waylon was like, I don't want to go in no hospital, but they was like, the doctor was like, I'm sending you straight to the hospital. He was like, I was trying to tell you I wanted to go and drop my car off home first. And I was like, I moved swiftly, so I had everything already set up and handled before he could blink. So he was kind of like, And I was like, when things happen, you have to not freeze, but try to get things done quickly and in order, because you don't want your mind running all over the place, and and the funny thing about it was, to walk into the emergency room, they call his name, he get ready to go to the back, and they looking at him like, are you the right person? And I'm laughing like, why is they asking him that? And they was like, you don't look like what they say on your chart. So that's the blessing of the Lord. You can be going through a thing, but it don't seem like you going through it, and so therefore people will think, oh, you're not who you say you are. And then when God moves on your behalf, and they bring him to the back and they start taking x-rays and all kind of stuff, and then he coughed, and then they was like, oh, wow. So they started scrambling, really running. And I was like, because when he coughed, his heart rate and his blood pressure went through the roof. And the doctor ran in the room. At first, if my husband couldn't see him, but I was looking at him, he was running from that room. He was running wide open, and when he got to the curtain, he was like, he composed himself because he was afraid that something was going down, that he didn't know what was going on. And then he was like,
no, I saw him run full speed around the corner, and then curtain was like, he looked at me, I looked at him. He looked at me, I looked at him. And he looked at me like,
you don't look like what you just sounded like. Mm-hmm. And so that was a blessing from the Lord, because it was like, it was serious, but it was like the glory of God had to be on him to keep him composed and keep him, because when things happen, you sometimes lose your composure, because it's kind of scary, but it's kind of it humbles you, because you know who God is in your life, and you know what God can do, and he's going to move on your behalf, and he's going to change things, and he may not be the thing that you need. So you just have to hold on and believe that God is going to do what he wants you to do, and be who he called you to be, and let things happen. It don't always work our way. It don't always work our way. It don't always work our way. And we think that things are going the worst way, but we know God is the ultimate healer, the ultimate director. He's the ultimate all end all be all. Just help him and encourage. The best encouraging part was people that were reaching out, people that were coming forth and just saying, we need your help, we need you, we love you, and we thank God for you. So we appreciate everybody that called, everybody that checked, those that prayed the most. That's the thing that gets me, is that we knew that the prayers of the righteous availeth much. And we know how others are going through, and we just don't know how we can affect somebody's life. Because, like I said, you're going through and you don't know, you just don't know. And I'm just grateful for y'all. Thankful for all that called and was like, what can we do? How can we do things? And, those that came up to the hospital, those that, came to my aid with Monet, and those that, it was just like, do you need me to pay a bill? Do you need me to do this? And I was like, no, I just thank God that I'm able to, be all that God called me to be for my husband, because I was just like, I was left hanging because I was so used to having him do everything. So, but I'm glad God gave me the strength to do what I need to do for him. And now I got him on chill mode, so he's mad about that. But I bless God for him not, him obeying me for the moment. Because I know he don't use the pay. He likes to do his thing, but we just believe in God, and for all those that are going through, we're yet praying too. You always lift each other up. Never doubt who God is and what he's going to do and the people that he uses, And then you have to remember the will of a person. We don't always want to hear it. We don't always understand it. But it's their will and the way that they want to do things is hard. It's disheartening sometimes. But God will use it for his glory. And you have to learn that when it's his glory, he's going to, he'll give you strength in the time. We've all been touched by infirmities. We've been touched by different things, but we praise God that he will not leave us, nor will he forsake us, even when the enemy thinks or tries to set us up and say, God ain't with you, but God has you in the palm of his hand, and no man can pluck you out of his hand. And last night, as I was listening to the word, I was falling in and out of sleep, but I was listening to the word, and it was just like, wow, I heard things that, are sometimes common to you, and then sometimes it's just like, oh, wow, Christ became our ultimate sacrifice, and therefore we are so encompassed with the greatness of the Lord that he didn't forsake us or leave us, but he has his hand on us. And when we go through things, we don't know how we're going to come out, but we know that with the hand of the Lord, he going to bring us out, and with strength and with power and with understanding and with freedom. So just know that God is such an awesome God, and he loves us with an everlasting love. And he tells me that he wants to lead me in the right path. He wants to lead me in the right way. And I'm like, wow, God, I bless your name. I give your name the glory for all the wonderful things that you're doing. And he was talking about I forgot what scripture I wanted. God gives us such beauty for ashes, because sometimes we don't realize we need that beauty for ashes. We need to go through. In the times that we go through, God has our hand, and no man is able to take us out of it unless we try to go other ways, God is so good, and I'm just grateful that I'm able to say that out my mouth. Even if things don't go the way I wanted to go, I still can say God is good. And still be able to believe, have my faith in God. See, that's the thing is some of us lose our faith and we lose our hope. When I lost my mom and my sister, I was really just like walking around like kind of like in a daze because it's a feeling that you don't want to feel, but it happens, and I started reflecting back on to what my mama would say. And last night, something happened, and I heard my sister's voice in the background. I was like, "Oh Lord, not the spirit of that fool!" And I started laughing because the conversations that we sometimes had, it comes back in my mind and it comes back in my heart, and I'd be like, my mama never liked for me to cry a lot because she was like, it just hurt my heart to see you cry, and I'd be like, but mama, crying is a release. Crying is good, crying starts the healing, and but she just was just like, she'll cry, but she be like, she do it on her own private time. My daddy is a weeping willow. My dad start talking about something or somebody that's going on, he gonna cry. So you looking at him like, and then my mama used to be like, it used to be so funny when he used to go to church and he would do devotion, and they would have to lead devotion and say prayer and sing songs. He didn't sing songs, but he would always lead the prayer. He would end up crying, and he'd be, just crying. My mama would say, he got no people thinking I'm doing him wrong at home. But I was like, mama, no. But the funny thing is that was the sentiment of his heart. Yeah. And what comes out of your heart, when you have a relationship with the Lord, and you can speak from your heart, and you can say, God, I'm bothered. God, today is not a good day. See, we try to talk in the king's language sometimes because we read the Bible and we think we're supposed to talk proper to the Lord. And you just have to say, Lord, I need you today. I can't make it. I don't understand it. Why? And it's nothing wrong with asking the Lord why, how, when, who. And people tell you, don't question the Lord. Question him. Ask him as much as you can because he will give you the answer. And that's the thing, you want the answer. You want to be able to move and breathe and have your being in the Lord, knowing that he's going to save you when you go through trouble. When you call, he said, all that call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved. As I was going through with my husband, I just kept praising God, thanking him for his healing. I kept thanking God. He was like, you got to go home. And I was like, I don't want to go home. I was going to stay till 12 o'clock. And he was like, no, I ain't going to be able to rest not knowing that you and baby girl ain't safe. He was like, 8 o'clock, 7:30, 8 o'clock, y'all need to go home. And I was like, okay. So we would get home, and Monet would get straight into bed. She would go in his room, lay down on the chair for me, and then she'd get straight into bed, turn her back, and start rocking. I was like, whatever. So then I would try to do some things, and then I would be just like falling asleep. I fell asleep in the tub, so I was just like, let me get up before I be done dry. Because I was like, I didn't even know I was that tired, because when you going through your body, you get tired. You get broke down because you're trying to be strong for everybody else. And then, some people were asking, how are you? And I was like, I think I'm just on autopilot right now because I know I got to do, stuff still got to flow. And then when he started talking crazy to me, I was like, babe.
I did not talk crazy to you.
Yes, you did.
I did not.
Yes, you did.
I did not. You call it crazy. No, Nancy. You about to be.
He started talking about, pay this bill I've been paid, and this is where the money is, and this is, and I was just like, babe.
You done provoked me. Now I gotta come over.
I was like, babe, don't do me like that. Don't do me like that.
No. Because you and I have often talked about.
Yeah, I remember.
No, but here's the thing. You have to have those conversations.
You do.
And all I did was, I just said, remember, if something happens, this, and this. I just gave you a reminder. It's like, I need 2 minutes. And I was like, something happened, take my phone. This is not the most important thing. Take my phone. You have access to it. Every passcode, every here's my lock account here, so that you put the code in, it opens up. Here are my passwords. Here's all the way everything is, so you know what's what. So you don't have to be worried about.
I remember this.
I know you remember it, but again, it's just a real quick. Don't forget, because I remember when my mother passed away, we didn't know where nothing was. Because she didn't tell you where her stuff was. So therefore, I made it a point since 2008 for everybody that needed to know something happens, do this, the policies are here. If you can't find the policies, they're online. If all push come to shove, call our insurance agent. But everything else, all the other money accounts and things like that, this is where this stuff is. And that's just what it was. And she's like, I don't want to hear this. Like, I don't have time for you to have a moment and to be crazy right now. I just need for you to say, okay, real quick, let's compartmentalize real quick. This is what it is. I said, and trust and believe. If something happened to me, and I go home to be with Jesus, and Jesus gonna be like, wait, I'm fighting, I'm swinging, because I'm like, I'm not supposed to be here. You told me thus and so. Send me back. I'll be fighting to get back. Just understand. But just because I wasn't sure at that point, I was not sure what was going to happen. Because I went in thinking that I'm going to go get this echocardiogram done. He's going to say, oh, we see the problem. Here, this prescription, this, do this and this and this, and then you'll be fine. So in my head, after I leave the doctor, we're going to get something to eat for Valentine's Day. Then we're going on with the rest of our day. Not, I'm going to admit you right now. Because then, at that point, I wanted to fight. Like, I wanted to really fight him or somebody was going to get the smoke. Like, I got angry and I wanted to fight. So it was just a dramatic shift and change. And then in the midst of the entire time, I'm like, okay, Jesus, where was y'all? Like where were y'all? And it's not like God ain't never with you, but my questioning was, what did I miss? Why, why this way? Like, just a myriad of questions. And I'm going, okay, Lord, you're supposed to keep me from danger seen and unseen. Like, this is not the plan. Why did you say something? Why, when I got to the first, like, I'm going back through this month of torture, what I called it, of coughing and torture. And he's just like, I got you, don't worry, like, I got you. And I'm like, no, like, I need questions answered. So that's where I was. And then when they were like, well, we're going to admit you, we're going to get you a room. So he had me to go. And then I'm looking at them because they were like, we don't have a room. Like, there's not a room in the city. And I'm going, no room in the city. Like, what story does this sound like? Like, so I'm going to be sitting in the major, like someone just waiting for a room. And they kept me in the corner of the ER, and they and Shell and Darius were there with me. And then eventually they went home, and I was just there. And I'm like, okay, I'm here. But I'm like, all right. And I'm trying to rest. I kept coughing. They kept giving me stuff. They kept running tests, and they're like, we're not finding anything. And I'm mad now because I'm going, I was put here because you're supposed to find what this is. Mm-hmm. Now you're saying your tests are coming back good, but you're not getting to the root. And it's just a frustrating thing of, you're getting good news, but I almost would rather them say, okay, this came back bad, but that tells us this is what it is, so now we have a path for healing. That wasn't happening, so I'm going, okay. I'm like, all right, Jesus. And then I kept hitting the button because I wanted to go to the bathroom by like 2 a.m, and they would not come to let me go to the bathroom because I could not get up on my own. They would not let me move out of the bed.
because
But they gave him
the what?
that jar they gave you.
Yeah, I'm not
Bedside.
using that. Ain't nobody using that.
The euro.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody. Ain't nobody. I am not using that. No, it's not. No, I'm not using that. And I'm hitting the thing, and no one comes. When the lady, when the nurse in the ER finally got to me, it's like 4 in the morning. She's like, "We got you a room," and I'm going. So I'm not gonna be able to go pee till I get to my own room. I'm like, okay, fine. And by then, I was so angry because I wasn't sleeping. So I'm upset. I'm angry. I'm frustrated. I gotta go pee. They told me I couldn't eat nothing after 12 o'clock, which is a whole nother thing. They starved me while I was in the hospital, y'all. Not purposely, but it was just it was just
Because
weird.
of the test.
Because all the tests they wanted to run. So they take me upstairs to the room. I get to this next nurse, and this lady was like she was the nicest, but she was just calming. And she was like, "We gotta do this, Mr. Gibson. Gotta do this, and do this." And I said, "Okay." And the 3 things I wanted was an ER. I needed them to switch my IV out because they put it in my elbow, which is the worst place to put an IV. Because anytime you move, it hurts. It hurts. So that was that. They tried to put it in my left arm, and they didn't. So they put it over there. I don't know why they put it so far up. So she's like, "Do you want me to move your IV?" I was like, "Yes, please." I'm like, let's move that. So she found a nice spot, and the way she cared for it and dressed it, she had this little extra gel kind of thing that she had on it that kept it from moving, and that if anybody hit it, it was just, she just took such great care in what she did. Her name is Kristen. Thank you, Kristen. I was like, please tell Kristen, because I was like, is Kristen coming back? And they were like,
It's like Saturday.
It's like, I'll be at Saturday.
But you was gone.
I was like, well, I don't know about Saturday, but she was incredibly helpful in getting me settled down and getting me relaxed and getting me calm. And I was able to then kind of take a little nap and go to sleep. And then as soon as I went to sleep at 5 in the morning,
Here they come.
I'm here to take your vitals. And then the young USC person came in doing that. And so her last name was Saturday. Because I'm like, I'm going home Saturday. And when she walked in and I looked at her name, I was like, how do you say your last name? I said, okay. I said, they call you Saturday, don't you? She's like, yeah. I said, okay. So when my doctors finally walked in that morning, they were trying to give me the rundown of what's going to happen. I was like, how long am I going to be here? I would like to go home Saturday. And he looked at me like, in their head, I'm going to be here for about a good week and a half, 2 weeks. Like the way they were talking in the beginning was, we got to drain this, and then there's something else that we see in the x-ray that we don't like, and we want to find out what that is. It's an artifact. They call it an artifact. Really nice word. It's an artifact, and we want to find out what that is, and we're not sure whatever, because we want to test your organs to find out what's causing all of this. Is this new? Is this old? Is this that? Is this that? And I'm going, I said, it's okay. I said, okay. But if everything goes well, push come to shove, everything goes spectacularly well, and there are no problem complications, I can go home Saturday. And he was like, sure. Yeah. I mean, he was just like, yeah, whatever, sure. So he walks out. So I'm like, okay, I got Saturday as my target goal. So for me, it was Saturday. Everything goes well, I go home Saturday. And when the doctor came in Friday afternoon, early Friday afternoon, and he was, well, we want to keep you for observation over the weekend. And so Wednesday, well, Thursday, 5 in the morning, 4 in the morning, I had my room. By 8 o'clock, no, by 9:15, they drained the fluid that was over my heart. So that's what was causing all of the coughing, all of the tiredness, all of the stuff. And so they pulled over. They took me to CT scan. They did this procedure there, and all it was just a drain, and they put a slow drain on me to catch any excess, to see whether or not it would flood back quickly, or if it was just drain out, and then that would be it. The guy said he pulled over 32 ounces of blood fluid off of the top of my heart. He's like, that's what was causing you to be sick. He's like, how you feel? And by the time they say, hey, we're gonna give you some, because the lady's like, I got your IV. I'm your bartender. I'm gonna give you something. You know, it's gonna help you make it feel real good. And so I'm like, all right, I am not responsible for anything that I say. It's your fault. And by the time I'm waiting for her to put the dye in, she's like, we're gonna put the dye in, it's gonna burn a little bit. I'm waiting to feel the dye. And by the time I kind of come to, he's like, it was like 15 minutes late. He's like, this is what I pulled off for you. And he's like, how you feeling? I was like, I feel okay. Like, you got started yet? He's like, I'm done. It's like, okay, great. I didn't feel anything. But he pulled it off, and then they got me moving. I got back to the room. And when I got back to the room, they were like, how you feel? I feel fine. And for the rest of Thursday, I just felt good. And then I was able to start going to the bathroom regularly. Like, I went to the bathroom like 5 times in like an hour and a half. And then as Thursday went, I kept feeling better and better. They were going, okay, we got to do this. We're going to put you on this IV drip, and we're going to do this and do this. So then I know I'm feeling good now, because now I want to get up and clean the room.
Yeah.
I want to reorganize the room, and I'm doing stuff, and I'm like they don't even have a good shower. I can't take a shower. So now my functioning is, and my thinking is like, they don't have a shower in this room.
Because when he was home, all he was doing was laying on a chair.
Right.
Sitting there laying.
So I was able to sleep. People were visiting. Then Friday morning, they said, oh, you can finally eat. So this is after 1 o'clock. It's like, they're going to let you eat, and you have no restrictions on your diet. They didn't give me any more medications other than antibiotics and some Mucinex. Probably like $30 for a pill of Mucinex. But because they kept going, you still have a cold. It's like, I have a cold? You have a cold. I said, okay. And in the midst of all of that, my brother was there, and he was like, I'll go get some lemon pepper wings. I said, yeah, I have some lemon pepper wings. So we're talking about lemon pepper wings and Chinese food, because he said I have no restrictions. So my nurse comes back in. He's like, no, you can't have the lemon pepper wings because. But I'm on the hard. No. I'm on the hard side of the. It's not registering to me that I'm in the heart hospital, and their whole thing is like no salt, no sodium, no whatever. For me, though, he's like, I can eat with no restrictions, and they starved me. The last thing I ate was 7:30, 8 o'clock, Wednesday, a little bit of soup from McAllister's, and a half of an avocado bacon sandwich. Not even a half of that, like a little bit of that. That's all that I had. So from then all the way till like Thursday afternoon, I haven't eaten or drank anything. So they're like, okay, now you're going to be able to eat something. So he went and found me a sandwich, a little sandwich at the cafeteria, and brought that to me with some juice. And I ate that, a little turkey sandwich. And I had that, and then he said, they're going to bring you dinner. So then I had dinner. But then by then, Monet's over there with me. So Monet's ate half my dinner. So that was that. So then I'm like, well, okay, then I'll get to eat the next morning. And then the next morning, they're like, we're not going to let you eat because we want you to go to the Northeast campus and go take this MRI and get this other scan so we can find out really what's going on. While I'm there Thursday, as soon as I get back from them putting the drain port in, my parents walk in. This is Thursday afternoon, about 12. So they walk in. And they're like, hey, how you doing? So we're sitting talking for a minute. And 10 minutes later, the guy's like, I'm coming to take you for an ultrasound. And so they're just running tests on me like crazy. And everything's coming back favorable. They probably did like a full body scan. They did ultrasound stuff to try to see where my organs were, because they're trying to find out what caused this. Like why this happened to me. But at this point now, I'm like getting my energy back. I'm getting my strength back. So I'm sitting there going like, I gotta go to the bathroom. So Lay's like, here's a little thing. It's like, no. I need to walk to a bathroom. Like, where's your bathroom? And so she's like, oh, I'll take you. I said, okay. I said, no, I can get up. So I'm getting up to go to the bathroom. She's like, no, I gotta roll, because they have me in the bed. I gotta roll you in the bed. I can walk. You can walk? I can walk. You're not on oxygen? I'm not on anything. I got this drain port and this IV. If you take the IV out, I can carry this with me, go to the bathroom. Like, it's not a problem. And they are amazed, but we're frustrated because they have to follow protocol. And it's taking forever. So that's Thursday. Thursday was kind of crazy. Friday morning, they doing all this stuff. When they came to take me to the Northeast campus, they walked in and they see me looking young and they're going, where's your oxygen? So they're immediately assessing that there's got to be something extra else going on because you're supposed to be on oxygen. There's something else got to be wrong. And they were like, well, we got to figure out how, these rooms so small, we got to figure out how to get our stretcher in. And I went, I can walk to the stretcher. And he's like, you can walk? I said, I can walk. He's like, there's nothing wrong. I was like, no, I just got this little port. But they know, because by then, that morning, they pulled it. So they pulled my port, my drain port. What fluid was in it from Thursday till Thursday night about 9 o'clock. They measured it, emptied it, cleansed it, cleaned it, put it back on, and said, okay, have this here. It was empty from like 10 o'clock to the next morning. So there was nothing coming out. So they said, take it off. So they took it off so I can go to Northeast campus. And so when the guy was like, I can walk, I can walk. So I got it, I stood up, I had on my little flip-flops and stuff like that. I can walk. And they were like, okay, well, you got to sit here. And so they're rolling me out. And, we're going. And I was like, if y'all, like, be honest with you, I probably could drive myself, but they're not going to let me drive. My wife, my wife took my car home. I said, but I could have drove myself to Northeast campus. Like, this is just how I feel. I'm like, they're like, really? So why are you here? And so they're reading my chart, and they're like, oh, okay. It's like that was going on, and they drained it. Since they drained it, I'm feeling pretty good. And so I get to Northeast campus. The lady does the MRI, and that's when I realized some of the effects of being out, because I wasn't able to hold my breath past about like 12 seconds. And I'm going, oh, okay. So now I'm seeing some of the effects of stuff. And the whole time, Holy Spirit's like, I got you. We good. And because Doc kept saying, we got to go do this, we got to do this, we got to do this, we want to do this, we want to do this, we may have to crack you open and da-da-da-da-da. And I'm going, I don't think I'm ready for a crack open today. Like, I don't think that's what I want this week. But I kept going, but if everything goes well, I can go home Saturday, right? I kept, they were a little bit like, why are you trying to go home Saturday? So once everything was done, the guy came back and one of the lead doctors came in and said, okay, we're going to keep you over the weekend for observation till Monday. And I went, why? And he was, what do you mean? I was like, why? I was like, anything wrong? He's like, no. But, it's like, your port is fine, everything's good. It's like I thought I was going home tomorrow. Like, if there's no reason to, like, put me on an IV or whatever, it's like, I'm off of everything. He's like, you don't have your drain? I said, no, y'all took it off this morning. And I've had my MRI. And he's like, well, we want to do some type of another MRI with you Monday morning.
A PET scan.
Yeah, it's like, I can come back. Like, I can come back. He was like, you'll come back? I was like, yeah, I'll come back. Like, can I go home? I'm like, I go home Saturday. And then he's like, okay, well, I'll go talk to see what they say. About an hour later, my nurse walks in, and he's got discharge papers. He's like, you ready to go? I was like, go where? I'm like, what test am I going for now? He's like, no, you're going home. I was like, wait, like today? Tomorrow? He's like, no, today. I said, oh, let me test my wife. I'll find out how long before she get here. And that's how things rapidly happened. And I'm going, okay, God, this is good. But still, I need you to talk to me about why I'm going. Like, it's for me, it's like, what is the purpose of all of this? Because one of the things that I was upset about, and I kept thinking about, was, like, I didn't know that I needed to, like, when I do my annual physicals and that kind of stuff, it's almost like the stuff you don't know. Like, I didn't know that I may have needed to say, hey, let's go run some extra tests just to make sure I'm perfectly healthy. Mm-hmm. Let's go make sure this, because I don't know of anyone who's ever been through what I'm going through. And that becomes part of my frustration, because I'm going, Lord, I just talked to my doctor the 20-something of January. Like, I was in her face in her office. You could have said, like, hey.
She could have did an echo in the office.
But no, but I'm saying, like, God, you know,
But
that
nobody was thinking it was
no
your
one's
heart.
thinking it's heart related. Everyone's like, it's your lungs, it's your bronchitis, this is whatever. And so I'm going, huh. So now I'm backtracking, thinking maybe this is something that's been going and building for years, and it's finally come to a head, and whatever. What I've also learned is about the heart is that the heart kind of just beats and goes. And if something starts going wrong, the heart just says, okay, let's give extra energy and effort to make sure you get to do what you need to do. And that way you keep functioning. But in another regard, it's not healthy, because eventually your heart will just give out, because like we can't support the dysfunction of your life living. We can't keep supporting this dysfunction, so eventually it overworks itself to it and comes to a crash. So that's why I kept going, why is my heart rate so high? And they could not figure out why it was high. The doctor said, remember, he said that, oh, you taking the inhaler, that runs it up as well. So I quit the inhaler, and it still stayed where it was. And so that's why I was looking for the answers that I wanted from him, and I got my answers. I just didn't like his response to what he said, to what was said. But I'm thankful to God, because in my mind, I'm not going anywhere. But I think to them, they were like, I don't think, it's almost as if they're like, they don't know how I'm standing. Like how are you still here?
It could have been another way. And you know, sometimes when you think somebody's all right and you don't pay attention to the signs, and then to go another way, then they feel guilty because they didn't do all that they could do. But then to walk in, like I said, they kept walking in, it was like, it's you?
Like, you're the... It's the... Because I kept telling the doctor, I said, he's like, well, did you feel like when you lay down, how do you feel? I was like, well, before coming to the ER, when I went to lay down, I would feel like I was choking, I was drowning. So I wouldn't lay down. I would go and just sit on the couch and sleep on the couch, sitting like in an L shape. And he went, oh, okay. He said, did that help? I said, yeah, it helped. I could get some sleep. And if I coughed or whatever, I didn't have that drowning feeling. So once everything was done and I got home Friday evening, and got into bed Friday, my biggest thing was, am I going to have that feeling again? And I did it, and I went to sleep, and I slept good. And then all of a sudden, I was like, why is the... I woke up, the bed was wet. And I went, like, is she always water in the bed or something? And I was sweating. And I'm going, okay. And I remember getting to the hospital when they admitted me. I was about 207, 205?
204. Yeah.
205. I woke up that Saturday morning. Woke up Saturday morning, got on the scale, and it says 185. I'm like, where did all this weight go? So now none of my clothes fit. So y'all can see like my clothes don't really fit. But I'm like, where did this weight go? Like, what is going on? And so
it could have been what they pulled off too.
It was fluid.
Yeah, I mean, but you don't pull off 20 pounds of fluid, like.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Could be.
You could.
But I'm going like, where did all this stuff come from? Like, whatever. But even with that, on a regular day, like before going whatever. But then again, it could have been. I'm like, where did all this stuff come from? So now I'm like, okay. So then I'm like, okay. Shelly said I can't go nowhere. I can't go visit nobody. So I'm going back to sleep. So I'm back in the bed sleep. And I'm sleeping good. Like, I'm like, this is like good sleep. And then the phone rings. And she's like, you asked me where I was?
I'm like, where are you?
I'm in the bed sleep.
Okay, Dad had the door knocking.
And I'm like,
He done rang the doorbell. Daddy even just sat down on the steps waiting on you to come open the door. He was there at 10 o'clock. You didn't open the door till 10:12. He had been sitting on the step waiting on him.
Sleeping.
And I was like, dang, Dad out the door. And he done went to the store and brought him orange juice and ginger snaps.
Ginger snaps. Like, ginger snaps? Like, who told you? I like nobody but Chef.
Yeah, because he asked me what kind of cookies. He was like, he was going to try to buy you something else. And I was like, Dad, he got to have heart healthy stuff. So I said, ginger snaps might be the closest.
Yeah, so, yeah, all that good stuff. But I was determined, though, because as soon as I got discharged from the hospital, I called my brother. And
Getting the haircut.
I was like, where you at? He's like, I'm at the shop. I was like, you got plans for later on? He's like, no. I was like, they let me leave. I need my hair cut. You gonna cut my hair for me? He's like, come on. You get here in 30 minutes. I was like, I am on the way. So this is the other blessing of, because they were pushing me around like the whole time from Thursday through Friday. They're pushing me all around Providence Hospital. And I'm going, this is eerie because I just walked these halls not too long ago. And then the benefit of when it was time to get discharged, my nurse was like, we're just waiting on a wheelchair. I was like, I can walk. He's like, yeah, we can walk. Let us walk out. He's like, well, let me know how you feel. So I walked out the hospital. Like, we got the elevator. We got in the elevator, went down to the floor, and he walked us out the hospital, which I thought was the coolest thing ever. Like, I'm walking out. I walked in and I walked out, which is for me a wonderful testimony for somebody one day. But it's just the fact that, like, okay, I walked into the hospital and I walked out without any complications. And Shell's like, you're supposed to let them put you in the wheelchair and wheel you out. That's their protocol. And it's like, that don't have to be the protocol. Like, sometimes.
And I parked across the street, so
we walked across the street, and it was, again, for me, it's okay, because if I start feeling dizzy or something, whatever, then I know something is wrong. I'm fine. Went and got my hair cut. After I got my hair cut, we came home, showered, changed clothes, went out for Valentine's, because I missed Valentine's. So I took it for Valentine's. Then I came home, went to sleep, and had a good time. And she wouldn't let me leave the house, because I was trying to go to breakfast. See how she do me wrong?
Well, take it easy, baby. You know.
That is taking it easy.
I was not taking it easy.
That is taking it easy.
I know.
I need to take my goddaughter to breakfast, have a little conversation, take her on back to the house. I'd have gone back home. I'd have been home by 12, sitting, relaxing. Not a problem.
You could have went to breakfast.
I could have went to breakfast. So he was the alternative. I'm home.
It's your rest.
I'm home, and then I'm looking around because it's been chaos for the past 3 days. So I'm not even letting the house to be clean or whatever. So now, and then Mr. Wilson leaves, and then I get him, I start cleaning.
I come home, he's washing dishes and putting up dishes. I was like, go sit down. Leave me alone.
Leave me alone.
I got this. Leave me alone.
Like, let me do. Because the doctor also said, do not be sedentary. He's like, don't just sit home and do nothing. You need to get up and move. So I was like, I can go walking? He's like, yeah, you can go walking. I said, okay, I'm going to go walking. Until somebody came home a little early. Because I was getting ready to get in the car and go walk at Southeast like I used to do. I'd have told her where I was, put up the little thing, whatever, check in. But I was going to go because that's the whole point. I have to get my stamina and stuff back up. So I got to go walking. See, they won't let you be great.
Be great.
There's a process too.
Yes, I know.
It's a process.
I get the process.
You have to go through.
Yeah.
Because I'm learning that right now. That sometimes people jump ahead of certain things and don't follow it all the way through like they need to. And when they don't follow it all the way through like they need to, then something can come in.
Yeah.
Setback.
I'm learning it right now, and then you have to go back through
And
this
the whole process over again. Yeah.
to correct it. When before, go through it from the beginning, so it's done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got it. But like I said, I just like, okay, I need to go walking. And for me, it's a thing of like I was watching my steps because I'm going like, okay, like why my knee hurting? Like I'm getting up to go walk, so I'm like my knees. So I'm like, why's my knee hurting? And so I'm just noticing that even this morning, I'm like my steps are not as sure as I'm used to just. So I'm having to pace myself and say, okay, slow down.
And the fact
Slow
that
down.
and the fact that I love that everybody that I let know what was going on with them, they were praying, they were checking, and it was like that's what the body of Christ is supposed to do. We're supposed to pray for one another.
Yeah.
And when you're in your illness or you're in your time of whatever you're going through, that the body begins to pray and seek the face of the Lord. And that was reassuring to me because I was like, the prayers of the righteous avail much. And sometimes, we're told to keep, don't let everybody know what's going on with you. And I thought about that, and I was like, why would you not let the saints know to pray? I said, even the ones that may try to pray against you, God will lift up a standard against that. But I was like, but you got to really take off your restraint. See, some of us feel like we're humble, and some of us feel like we're super saints. Whereas he was saying, why didn't the Lord tell me what was happening with me? Sometimes if he tell you what's happening with you, like you said, you won't finish the process. You'll start doing things to say, well, I can counteract this, or I can do this. And, like some people feel like, I remember when my sister had a heart attack at church, and she was like, take me home. But the more she went home and my brother-in-law was listening to what she was saying, they dropped the kids off and went on to the hospital. He took her straight to the hospital because he was like, something's not right. And so when she got there, they were saying, you're in the process of having a heart attack now. But she never lost consciousness. But if he had went home and let her lay down and not have made her go on, and see, sometimes we'll be saying, oh, by the stripes of Jesus, I'm already healed. And it's wonderful to quote the scripture. It's wonderful to say, I believe God will answer me, and he hears me, and he delivers me, and he takes me through. He got his hand on me. And yeah, he does, but he gives doctors also wisdom on what to help us with. And so if you walk in a hospital and you learn to shut your mouth and allow people to do their job.
Right, but also understand that they have to work.
Whatever
and he's like, well, I do whatever you tell me to do. Because some of their suggestions, I was like, and I shook my head. He's like, no. We're going to do this first and do that first, and then we'll see. I said, okay. Because for me, it was just in thinking, just being kind of analytical. Because my thing was, you're going to pull the fluid off and let's send it to the lab and see what that says, like if it shows anything. And they was like, yeah, we're going to do that. I said, okay. So I said, so, but before we go to a second step, we're going to see what the results of the first thing is first. He's like, yes, and we're going to run tests. So they just kept running tests to look for any other stuff and to weed things out. And the last thing that I know is that they're going to say, well, there are certain things we're going to do now outpatient because your everything else is coming back really well, so we don't need to keep you here. And I was like, okay, that's good. And some of the things that they are suggesting, like for me to go down to USC, in Charleston, MUSC in Charleston, and they were going, I'm probably like this Tuesday or Wednesday, the doctors are going to get together and they're going to look at your case and see this and this and this and this, and all the doctors from each department of heart health will be come together and they're going to see what's whatever. And so only thing I said was, so they're going to basically discuss my case without me. And he was like, you can go to work whenever you want. Like, if you want to go to work Tuesday, you can go to work Tuesday. And he was like, you can go to work whenever you want. Like, if you want to go to work Tuesday, you can go to work Tuesday. You want to go to work Wednesday, you can go to work Wednesday. He's like, it just depends on you and how you feel. I said, because if you're saying you're going to refer me down to MUSC, then I may want to save my days for when I need to go to MU. So I'm like, this is my logical thinking. And that helped them to feel like, okay, you're not just being a hard patient, you're actually trying to put ducks in a row so you can. I said, yeah, because I'm not a multimillionaire yet, so I don't have money just sitting around where I'm like, oh, I ain't coming back till next month. Like I don't do that. Plus, I have kids I'm responsible for. I said, so I want to make sure everything is in order so that I know what the next step is and I know how to plan.
But the thing that was when we went to the heart doctor, the first time he went, he said, "You're an anomaly." And I started laughing because I was like, if I hadn't seen Nemo, I wouldn't have known what that was.
Nemo?
Yeah, you remember Nemo? They was calling Nemo an anomaly.
No.
Yeah, so anomaly. And so I'm laughing about it, but it was like, this thing is, because the doctor kept listening to his heart. It took the doctor forever to listen to his heart because he was like, and checking his blood pressure because he was like, it's fine and your heartbeats are strong. He wasn't seeing what the camera showed. And then when we went to the echocardiogram, the woman ran out the room.
Yeah, I think I freaked her out.
And she ran out the room, but then when she came back and was looking in his heart, I saw fire.
Well, you're going to see that because
I saw flames like in the middle, and I was like, something about that ain't quite right.
No,
and I was
thought
like,
that was right.
huh?
Fire of the Lord was in my heart.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, Lord, hallelujah.
Okay.
Fire of the Lord was in my heart. Keeping me
right.
going. But in all seriousness, your body, your heart runs off of electrical pulses.
Mm-hmm.
That's why when they go clear, they're hitting you with electricity to try to jump you back. So like the purple and the blue.
No, I saw red
I know.
and
You
oranges.
saw red and oranges. I know. But
Purple and blue, I was fine with.
right,
But when I saw
but again,
like flames.
it's that kind of a thing where now I can't explain the red and the orange yet scientifically, but I know the purple and the blue is what you normally would see when your heart is firing, that kind of thing, and you're on the echocardiogram. And I could halfway explain away that maybe the orange and the red was because of where you were sitting and the angles and the sunlight. I could do that without, but when the lady was doing the thing, at first I was like, I'm not gonna look. Then I'm like, nah, let me see what this looks like. And I'm looking at it and I'm seeing the red and the orange. I'm like, okay, now that's not normal. I'm like, okay, and I'm seeing everything else. So I'm looking for something to be wrong. And then I'm going, I don't know how to really read this. So I'm just seeing what she's looking at, and then she just went out. And then I went, okay, now I'm nervous. And she was like, why are you nervous? It's like, that's not normal. Like, you don't just up and walk out. I was like, unless she's having a really bad bowel day.
And I'm thinking she maybe had a thing in her ear and was talking to somebody, and they might have said, "Come over here," and then he was like, "No."
I'm thinking unless she's having a real bad bowel day and she just had to up and run real quick and whatever. I said, but usually somebody's like, they'll say something. And so I'm like, okay, she come back in the room, she's like, I'm sorry, but I had a really crazy bowel mover now. Like, you're fine, everything's good. She ain't say none of that. She just kind of came in and
Start moving real
started
fast.
typing and kind of moving whatever. And then when the doctor wants to see you real quick and da-da-da-da. And I'm sitting there just trying to take my time and put my shirt back on and put my tank top. And her and Shell just grabbing my stuff like, let's go, like right now. Like you may pass out at any moment. So now I'm nervous and I'm going, okay. And I'm waiting for him to come in. And he didn't rush in. He just took his time coming in. And when he finally got in, he's like, okay. And he said what he said. And he's like, I want to admit you right now. Admit me where? To the ER, because there's a lot we want to get it off right now. What? So then I go from just being like kind of on edge to now I'm angry and I want to fight. And even afterwards, that's the one thing that I was telling my therapist is that she's like, how you feeling? I was like, I'm angry. I was like, if I could be perfectly honest, the one emotion that I know I'm having right now and I don't understand why I'm having it is anger. Like, I'm angry. She's like, why are you angry? I was like, I don't know. I was like, I really can't tell you why I'm angry. And then I started crying again. I'm like, I don't know why I'm angry, but I'm angry. So I got to come to your couch at some point in time. I said, because I don't know how to, I don't know which questions to ask to feel through these emotions. Like, it's a lot of emotions going on right now. and I'm angry, and I'm not 100% sure why. And I'm not even trying to say that God took me through this so he can deal with my anger. No, because there's plenty of ways to deal with your anger. But it's just like I'm being honest in the moment. And honesty in the moment is I am angry. And I can give a lot of surface reasons why I'm angry, but that's not the root. I said, so I'm gonna need to come sit and talk. And so she's like, okay, anytime, like whatever you need. I said, okay. And then just making sure people were in the loop that needed to be in the loop. Because I'm like, I don't want to come out of this and then all of a sudden, you were where and you did what? And didn't nobody tell me nothing? Because I remember when other family members went through things I did not know. And when I made a comment about it, people didn't understand my point of view. I think they understand it now. That when something happens and then you don't know and then you're just living life, then all of a sudden somebody comes around and like, hey, you know so-and-so, how so-and-so doing? They doing all right? And you're like, and you have no clue, you're blindsided, then that's what happens. So,
I made sure I got in touch with everybody I know was connected to him, making sure, because I wouldn't want to be found out on Facebook that my child in hospital or my brother is sick. Yeah. So I was like, I'm reaching out to all the right people, and I was like, you do right regardless of the situation. You do right. You just do make sure contact is made with everyone. And so then also too, we all are saints. So you got the prayers of the righteous that are praying and seeking God on what to do and how to do it, And like I said, I don't need no help in paying the bills. I don't need no help in cleaning the house. I can get that done.
Well, the bills are paid. I mean,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I can get that done, but I just need, and I don't need.
I did that from the hospital bed. Like, okay, this is done, that's done. But it's on automatic anyway.
Yeah,
so.
But I know what to do in the time, because I was like, what you always had that what if scenario, but I was just like, I don't want to seem strong and be weak.
Right, yeah. But for me, and I guess we'll go offline after this. And then take questions and talk amongst ourselves. But more than anything else, it is when people go, I'm gonna come visit, look at you, and I'm like, you don't really have to. And now I put out something, said, okay, they're gonna have me off campus till about 2:30. So don't come up here at 12 on a Friday. Like, I'm coming to see you. There's no need. And then when people did come to see me, like my queen came in and she was like, ain't nothing wrong with you. And like, I tried to tell you. It's like, you didn't have to come. I was like, I'm fine. I was like, because I know Auntie just passed. I was like, I'm fine. Like, I'm good. Man, see that she come in and she was like almost mad. Like you mad because you want me to be like, like, no.
Yeah, I did.
Because by then, really, I guess if people want to see you at your sickest, they should have come see me Thursday morning. Like Thursday morning with the whole thing in and whatever. Like that was the day. And even then, I ain't look that sick because Carson was like, how you doing? You doing good? And it wasn't even that bad. But that's all to the glory of God. But I'm going, like, by the time y'all really start looking at me,
the weeks before, he was looking bad.
Yeah, I was looking horrible the weeks before.
Hawking and coughing and not able to really, he wasn't. When he got the shortness of breath and seeing the tightness of the chest, I was like, that alarms me. But he was like, I was like, go back to the emergency. He went back to the urgent care, and they was like, just wait. And I was like,
no, because he said you already have the echocardiogram scheduled. So there's nothing that he could give me that's going to fix the cough. He's like, it's not going to fix the cough. Like, your lungs are fine. Everything else looks good. There's nothing to fix your cough. The echocardiogram is going to tell you what you need to know. And I'm going, okay. And even then, with the doctor, he was like, yeah, we might have to give you some stronger steroids. and whatever. So that's the thought process was get the echocardiogram, get the stronger medicine, and then in a week I'm fine. Then I can be mad with the world that it took them a whole month to figure out what's going on.
But also, I push to advocate for yourselves too, and advocate for your family members. If you're with a parent or you're with a niece, a child, or someone, you make sure you advocate too. He knew to ask the questions. Some people don't know to ask the questions. Some people just follow the direction of whatever the doctor is saying, and it may not be the best scenario for you. But if you got a family member, that's saying, "Is this the right? Can I get a second opinion? Can y'all call in another doctor? Because I'm not really hearing or believing that what you're saying," and they're looking like, they feel like you're being difficult. It doesn't matter if you feel like I'm difficult, I'm going to advocate for you. Even right now, I'm advocating for some people in places where no one comes in contact with them, and I'm advocating for them, and I'm saying this is what's going on. I'm going to the higher ups and saying, every time this person comes around, this is what's happening. I need to find out why. And they're looking at me like, what? I have never seen their family. I haven't talked to their family, but I'm going to advocate for them because this should not be happening. You should be, because y'all getting money from these people, and they are your patient. Your best mode to deal with them is to do things proper and right in the right way. And if nobody advocates for them, you're going to keep half doing what you're doing and feel like it's okay because nobody's telling you, because maybe they don't have the capacity to tell you, this don't feel right, this don't look right.
Right.
This don't.
And with some people, if they're in a position where the job description says you do these 5 things, but once they get into the job, they end up doing 10 things. Something's going to go lacking.
Yeah.
And sometimes, unless a person knows these things here cannot go lacking at all with this person, they will let things lack because they feel like I got to do all these 10 things on this job, which I was only hired to do 5. And so some companies, sometimes they get in binds, people, stuff happens, it is what it is. But when you advocate for your person, and it's the same way in school, when you advocate, the parent that advocates and is active with their child, that child gets the best care academically, because teachers feel like, okay, I can send you an email, a text message, a phone call, and then you're going to see that something gets done. And that line of communication, the teacher tries to go above and beyond because there's someone that cares about this kid. And the sad part is that when you don't have a parent that cares about the kid, when the kid misbehaves, the kid becomes, well, they ain't got nobody for them anyway. And then they kind of get pushed to the side. And so that is what happens academically on many, many scales and many levels. You have to advocate for your kid. And you have to have somebody that's checking in to make sure that if they're not getting what they need to get, then there's someone who's going to hold their feet, at least try to hold their feet to the fire at home to get something done. It still may not be all of the work, but as a teacher, if I know that if I call and say, hey, I need for a little cantaloupe to finish this assignment, can they get it done in a day or two, and they do and they turn it in, then there's some help. I may have to to overlook a couple of assignments, but because I know that there's some help from home and there's some other things going on, a teacher will work with you. But if the parent is, well, y'all don't teach my child right, y'all don't do this, whatever, and everything is the school's fault. Okay, then you might need to take your kids somewhere else.
And just like with Monet, the teacher sent a paper that she did at home and a paper that she needed to finish at home. It was the same exact paper. And she wrote the numbers, the paper that they sent from her classwork. She skipped over the numbers. She wrote the numbers backwards. She made a 9 into a P. She put where the 4 was supposed to be, she put a 6. So I told her, I gave her both of the papers. I said, sit down and fill in that paperwork. And she never even once looked up to me, and she did everything right. And she made one mistake, and I was like, look at what you did. Pay attention. Compare. And she went on through and finished the paper. And she finished that paper in about 5-6 minutes. And they was like, well, she doesn't want to do classwork. And I was like, because y'all not firm enough. I said, because every time y'all give her paper that y'all said she wouldn't do in the classroom, she sits before her mommy because her mommy tell her, you going to do this. You not going to give me the craziness. You going to do what you supposed to do. And like I said, to write a 9 as a P, she was trying to be funny. Because she looked at me and she was like, And I said, well, why did you put P's on the paper? And she was like,
Just being
And
bad.
they could, me observing that with my sister in particular, if you if you are being antagonistic towards her, she's going to show you the opposite that she's not going to do.
So
what it is that you?
yeah, she's being that's called being a brat.
I know that.
Right, and that's where I've shared with them. Take a recess. Don't let her sit with her friends at lunch. Make her sit by herself. Make her have a work lunch, a working lunch. That paper, she put it there, and she can't go sit with friends, whatever. No, well, we don't really want to do that. I know you don't we don't want to do that. We do that when we have to because little cantaloupe, little watermelon want to show out.
And see, that goes back to Satan will show you different things and try to make you forget who you are in Christ. And that's the thing where you have to begin to either you fight, you don't wrestle against flesh and blood, but you wrestle against powers and rulers of wickedness and of darkness. And I like that little thing you put up yesterday. And you kept saying the thing kept telling you to do the wrong thing, and it kept saying do the right thing, and then you started quoting the scripture. And so that's the thing, is that when your mind get discombobulated or you get thrown off by things, you gotta say, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I am the righteousness of Christ. Even if I do something wrong, I am the righteousness of Christ Jesus. And he hears me. He loads me daily with benefits. He is my source, and he makes things to be easy for me. He changes policies and rules because of the favor that's on my life. God, I thank you. Like, okay, I brought me some new shoes this week, and they're called Brooks, and they're meant. I went to the Good Feet store and I got measured for some shoes, and they told me $2,400, and I told them have a good day, and then they said that,
2,400.
Yeah.
You right?
Yeah.
Jesus was making her shoes that day.
And goodbye. Yeah.
Jesus was making her shoes that day.
And goodbye,